Cheers everyone, this is Maine Brew Guy again. Brew day, beautiful Saturday in Maine. So yeah, gonna brew beer today. Today I'm doing a Pliney Yulesmith Double IPA Hybrid. I kind of blended two of the recipes together, the best ones I could find, and then I kind of picked and chose the common items and came up with a recipe, completely shooting from the hip. Alright guys, I've been futzing around here this morning, so it's actually almost noon and I still haven't started. It's been sitting at temp here for a bit, but let me just show you one other thing that I don't think I've ever showed you guys what I do just before I start brewing. So let's bring it around. Okay, so the output of the coil, which you can see the coil there, I think, hopefully, goes through that fitting. I don't have it hooked up right now, so what I'm going to do is purge the coil. Even though I cleaned it, when I put it away, there's always going to be a little bit of standing water in there, so I'll turn the pump on and purge that out and see if you get some brownish, tannish looking water coming out. Clears. Of course, all that water is going to be boiled anyway, but why not purge it out? Alright, so it's purged, and now I can connect it to the mash tun. And actually, it'll continue to dribble from gravity. So I'll connect it up, and then I'll start my infusion. And for hockey player, I put all my water in the mash tun first, and then add the grains. By putting the grains in first and then adding the water, yeah, it's going to create a big mess for you. Okay, here we go. Oh, yeah, I'll cut away and show the recipe. Also, I talked about the my brew schedule. So it was getting a little bit crazy, and I needed to be able to project what I wanted to brew. So I made a brew schedule on a spreadsheet. So I'll show you that too. Okay, let's select the recipe in Beersmith 2. It is the Pliney Yulesmith Double IPA Hybrid. So we'll preview that. And let's get it bigger. Okay, it's of course the Pliney Yulesmith Double IPA Hybrid. It's a 90-minute boil. Hopefully it ends up as a double IPA, since it should fall in around 1070, which is just on the lower end. It's dry hopping 13 days of 1 ounce of Columbus, 1 ounce of Centennial, 1 ounce of Simcoe, and then we have the 5-day additions of those 3 hops as well. 14 pounds of 2-row, 10.3 ounces of Carapils Crystal 40, and 12.8 ounces of corn sugar in the boil. And then we have Columbus at 90, Columbus at 45, Simcoe at 30, Amarillo whole ounce at 5, and 0, well, the flame out additions there, Simcoe, Centennial, and I'm using a California common. Don't pay attention to the numbers on the right. I haven't updated them with the actuals. So I ended up at 1069. It was a little lower than I anticipated, but pretty close. That was my infusion. I had a 150 mash for 75 minutes. Alright, let's close this out and show you the beer brewing schedule. It's just a simple, something I'm just playing around with there on Excel. You just got the color codes there: brewing, fermenting, tap 1, tap 2, and bottles. For you guys, you may have more color codes with more taps. It's a 12-month schedule broken down into 4 weeks per month. So there that shows the ESBs at the end of bottles. I have a few left, and then this is tap 2, which is my Belgian, which I actually just blew out, so I'm going to show you how easy that would be to get rid of it. Just delete the line. So now I have tap 2 open, and oh,
well, the saison's going to be ready right around that time. So guess what? The saison's going in and on tap 2. We just blew out the Pilsner, so that that pale ale up there is now in tap 1, but it'll finish out because it's a fast mover. Third week of August, which is perfect because that's when my Oktoberfest should be really mellowed out, and that will go on tap 1. And then I'll brew the pale ale again because it runs out the end of August, but I won't have a tap available, so that time it'll go in bottles. And so I always try to keep the pale ale. That's the staple brew, the one that everybody comes over to get. So anyway, it just shows the one I'm doing today, which is Pliney, first week of July. And then oh well, I get a dry hop, so I have to increase the schedule by another week here. So I just moved the fermentation schedule over by a week, and I figured the bottles would burn up by about the third week of October. So now I'm looking at what I'm going to put in. Well, I guess I could show you how to, how easy it would be just to insert a month here. So if you're rolling around the schedule and you want to move it through, well, July, June is past, you can just add another month and drop it in there from the opposite end. So it's really simple, but looks like I brought the border over here, so let me get rid of that. Of course, it's running really slow because I'm going to forget this. I'm just going to back it up. One more. There we go. Back to where we were. Anyway, so yeah, now I need to figure on those last two lines. I need to figure out what I'm going to brew there and where they're going to fall in. So let's look at this line here. I'm going to brew the third week of July. So let's count these. You know what? I'm going to put a lager in here. So the only other lager I could think of that I'd be making right now is the Dos Equis clone. So that's what I'll drop that in, and we'll extend that fermentation out a little, only because I want to drop it in on the tap too. But if I didn't, I could also put it in bottles. And so if I put it in bottles, of course, I'd go blue. That's my color code. I'll just write Dos Equis in here, just keep track of what I'm doing. But you know, it probably will line up with the saison running out. It depends how good the saison is, I guess. So I'll drop it on tap 2 for now. You know, it's a fluid schedule, but it can also give you a visual representation of where you're going to be short. And look, tap 1 is going to be empty right around there. So maybe I brew another lager there. Maybe I brew a winter lager and have it ready for, you know, third week in November, right around Thanksgiving.
Hey guys, just adding in the 5.2 mash stabilizer. I've already put my water in here. Hockey player, water first. Actually, I want to talk to you guys about a future video. I'm actually still working on a couple of ones. Doing a project video for basically a side-by-side fermentation chamber, which one side can do lager and the other side can do ales, all within the same refrigeration unit. That's going to be a while yet though, but I'm still taking video of that project. The second project, or actually it's an informational, educational video, is going to be on water and water chemistry. I'm going to show you where to send your water samples out, and it's only 20 bucks to have it analyzed. You can put it in a Poland Springs bottle if you want, and I'll show you the procedure on that and where to mail it and how to analyze it when it gets back, and how to correct your water values for certain brewing. I still am not doing that myself, so I want to start correcting my water values instead of just guessing. I want to be where I should be depending on what brew I'm brewing. So I'm going to learn along with you guys. I'll show you how it's all done. So look for those videos coming up as well. Okay, all crushed up. This is my Pliney Yulesmith Hybrid Double IPA. Right, so here is the Brewer's Gold. I'm sorry about the wind. Let's see if I can cover this up a little. Sorry about the Brewer's Gold, the wind. This is my Brewer's Gold. And don't laugh at me, but I, last week, 2 weeks ago, weed whacked, yeah, up here. I'll explain that in a minute. I weed whacked it. That right off, and that one. They were way out to here, and I whacked it all off. And here's why. Oh god, I have to weed whack in here because the lawnmower won't fit. It's kind of tight, right? So I was standing here weed whacking, and I hit one of Carol's flowers. So I said, well, I'm gonna go straight up. Yeah, I went straight up. All right, hit the fucking Brewer's Gold like a numbnut. Anyway, it's doing very well despite my my stupid move. Anyway, nobody's perfect, but it's doing a lot of this, so I don't know what to do with this. Let it go, or as you can see over here as well. And up here, it's doing the same thing. It's just shooting out sprouts. So what I did was I took some string and I went to the Willamette wire twice. So if it keeps shooting out shards like that, I'm going to train them down this wire as well and make it like a canopy. Since the Willamette is doing great, considering it looked like it was on its deathbed, it's actually doing quite well. It's still getting munched on by something. I did spray last week. I don't know if that's munching or just leaf damage from wind. I'm thinking it might be leaf damage from wind because that doesn't look like it's being munched on. I don't know, I could be wrong. It doesn't look like this is old munching that hasn't progressed any further. This is where like the leaf is kind of ate away. It's kind of weird. Anyway, so what I did was all those diseased leaves, I actually cut them off. And what's happening is it's just shooting out new leaves from where I cut the old ones, or just below them. Cut, and then a new one shoots out. I cut it here, a new one shot out. See, I cut that. Oh, just fell right off. Where I had cut it, and it's growing right out. Same here. So it's trying to replace what I had removed the diseased leaves. So I'm thinking that I'm going to remove these here as well, or any diseased leaves I see, like these. I actually need to clear up the bottom anyway to keep the root from rotting. But I'm thinking I should just clip those off with a pair of scissors, because the plant seems to do better when you get rid of them. Even some of these older leaves, I'm merely guessing though, guys, but I'm thinking of cutting these. They just look sickly, and I don't know if they're spreading anything either. So these other leaves look fantastic. Of course, I've been pumping nitrogen into the ground on a regular basis. About every 2 weeks I give it a dose of nitrogen, and it's doing well. I mean, it's just doing all kinds of crazy shit. Look at this. No cones that I can see yet, but they got to be coming soon. So, tomato plants. It's about the only thing that's doing all right in my garden. Although these look a little wilted here. These leaves. Anyway, lettuce is just barely coming up. String beans are good. Carrots are good. Cucumbers are finally coming alive. I don't know what happened. They just decided to start growing. Radishes are all gone already. We already ate them. Anyway, that's my hop update. It'll look different here in another month. It's just now the 30th of June, so guys. Gorgeous Saturday in Maine. It's probably 85 right now. It's going to climb to about 90. And I'm just mashing in right now, just chilling, thinking about the projects I got going on. You saw my hops. Yeah, and I think they're doing all right. First year hops. I know I've been babying them a little bit, but I've never done it before, so kind of learning as I go. Hopefully I'm helping out other people. What else? Brewery, it's going fine. Oh yeah, I hope you guys like the spreadsheet. Like I said, the spreadsheet isn't, anything fantastic. It's just another tool for scheduling your, kind of gives you a better picture of what you're doing instead of just shooting from the hip. A lot of you guys have 4, 5, 6 taps. I have 2. So I have to schedule them properly. And I've been doing an okay job, but it's going to get really busy this summer. I have a lot of projects that I have to do, large projects to the house. I have to completely reshingle the house, plus I have to punch 2 holes in the roof and put in a sunlight and a vent fan for the kitchen, stove, and a vent fan for the bathroom. Yeah, the house never had it. That was one of the things that this house really needs. So, but anyway, the house is like 30 years old, and they're the original shingles, so it's time to replace them. So I'll be doing that. Big dumpster is going to come in. I'll strip the whole roof and make sure the sheathing is intact. I may end up having to replace some of those too. I don't know. There hasn't been any leaks, so I'm assuming the sheathing is in good shape. It seems to be in good shape from the attic side. So anyway, kind of babbling, but that's just water here this morning, and I'll probably review a couple of beers, but I won't show them in this video. So if you see me in the same outfit, it's because it was done the same day. No, what else? I guess that's pretty much it. I've got, like I mentioned, I have 3 projects. Well, actually I mentioned 2, and then the third one I had forgotten about, and that's my kettle knockout project. I'm working on a kettle knockout for the kettle for hops. Of course, it won't work for pellet hops. I'll still end up using the hops fire. For whole hops, I want to make a sort of, it's really not a kettle knockout because you can't really do that with these, but it's more of a kettle basket, stainless steel kettle basket. But I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to suspend it, because it's going to sit down over the kettle screen but not touch it. And then as I'm at the end of the boil, I want to be able to raise it above the wort to let it drain all the wort from hops for a period of time. So I have to figure out how I'm going to get it and then suspend it. The only engineering question mark, and I've got a couple ideas, but I don't want to make this thing too convoluted. I want to be able to have it easy enough for most people to build on their own. And if then I can't. But the idea has always been, all my projects, is to show people that they can do it with just standard tools.
As luck would have it, I ran out of memory. Well, the rest of the brew day went quite well, and probably would have bored you with it anyway. It was, pretty much gives you my updates, and here is the logo that Maxim AVS has been working on for me, and I want to give him a special thanks and shout out for all this extra work he's done. He's a great guy. Thanks, Max.